said, whoa, light that fuse and run. I said, whoa, I am my father's son. Light that fuse and run. Whoa, light that fuse and run. Went off to college, but college done up me. Couldn't get my master's in truth and loyalty. Bang out the buzzword, teaching that blind man to sing. You might get the best of him, but you'll never fool me. Now, sweet talk to beanstalk, tell Jack to go and fetch your bang. Try that and upstate boy, it's a different kind of scene. Went off to college, but college done up me. Couldn't get my master's in truth and loyalty. I said, whoa, light that fuse and run. I say, whoa, I am my father's son. Light that fuse and run. Whoa, light that fuse and run. Whoa. But college done up me. Couldn't get my master's in truth and loyalty. Bang out the buzzword, teaching that blind man to say. You might get the best of him, but you'll never fool me. Now, sweet talk to beanstalk, tell Jack to go and fetch your bang. Try that and upstate boy, it's a different kind of scene. When
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your episode of Sunday Sessions, the Bills Mafia official pregame show, brought to you by 26 Shirts, 26shirts.com. Go hit them up. We have a quick 30-minute to 45-minute, depending on how excited we get about this game, on our pregame show. We talk about the actives and inactives, which the list just came out. So that's why we do it at this time, so we can discuss back and forth, RT, what we feel is going to be either going to help us out or be a problem during this week's game against, obviously, the AFC East division rival New England Patriots. You guys see to my left or right, however you're looking at the screen, my friend of the show, supporter of the groups here, and obviously a staple of the Sunday Sessions. I don't have the verbs and adjectives to describe your lovely voice, so we're going to leave it up to the people. RT, love having you on as always. You are our Sunday Sessions guy, and tell people where else they can find you and a little bit about today's game.
Of course, it's always a pleasure. Love this show. Love getting to chat it up with you and Swank and Jared when I get the chance. Of course, you guys can find me Wednesdays at 8. The Thomas Dick Sports Podcast streams live as well on the Buffalo Fanbase Podcast Network. So you have Tuesdays at 8, K-Gun Report, Wednesdays at 8, yours truly. I've had a really fun season. It's been a weird year. It's been a up and down season, kind of in a way, for the Bills, despite the 9-4 record. We've had a lot of, roller coaster emotions this year, but each year that I get the chance to cover the team, in this Josh Allen era. Just got to pinch yourself a little bit, to the fact that this guy is our quarterback and what a player he is and what a town this is, a community this is. I've been a part of it, my whole life. I've lived here my whole life, and I don't see that changing. So it's great to get the chance to communicate with the viewers and listeners and, daily, stroll events that we go through, whether they're signings or things like that. You run into some people that, along the way. I mentioned to you, Scott, I was in Orlando in May, proposed to my girlfriend. I'm engaged now. And right before I proposed, we were walking through kind of Disney Springs a couple days before, and this guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, Ryan, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Good." And he recognized me from the Fan Base Network, my podcast, this show and stuff. So it's just really cool to get the chance to just deliver good content. I love football. Football was like my first love as a child. It was the first thing that I gravitated to. So it's just great to continue to, give something to the fans and put yourself out there. Use your voice.
Well, in this social media world that we live in, I mean, everyone can do it when we love doing it. And we do it for obviously the love of the game, but we also do it because of the families and the organic relationships that we've developed throughout the throughout this journey.
Sure.
With Thomas Take Sport podcast and 24. It's how we do things around here. Leave comments up here, guys. We do go over actives and inactives in our initial thoughts, and obviously keys to success offensively, defensively. We do our score predictions, and we do all that good stuff. I do like to hit up the comments so if you leave something, we'll throw it on there. Our AFC East RT is on the line. It's a big day in Foxborough for the Patriots. Obviously, they win. Pretty good chance that they win the division. If they lose, it's still up in the air, and they have despite of what their roster looks like, they will have the Ravens or their schedule. They will have the Ravens following, and obviously 2 AFC East division rivals. So the games can go any way in that regard. So AFC East on the line. Let's take one game at a time. Let's win this out. Obviously, we know what happened last time the Bills played them. We lost 23-20. Nail biter, a game that I said before we went live here, RT, any of those close games, Vrabel is like Tomlin, is like those other coaches that figure out how to win those tough ones. And obviously we couldn't pull that one out. Morning, we like to hit up the comments. Like I said, morning, guys, go Bills. Lou RQ, 3 hours behind there in Colorado. Good morning, Lou. Get your coffee in you, my friend. We do like to hit up the actives and inactives and get our initial thoughts. I am going to add to the stage the Buffalo Bills game day roster. We like doing this one. If you're all interested in where this is at, it's on X, Twitter, whatever you call it. It's on the Bills PR page, and it not only do they put the inactives, but they give us a list of who's on this roster for today. So initial thoughts here. Let's go inactives. Terrell Bernard, we kind of knew. Gabe Davis, Darnell Savage, Christian Benford. And that pisses me off. It's just so annoying. We get through that Cincinnati game, RT, without an injury, and then during practice, we get an injury that's going to put our best player sidelined, a guy that's been hot. Yeah. Tylen Gable, Fedarian Mathis, and Chase Lunt. Give me your initial reaction to this inactive list.
Well, as a coach, and whether you're coaching wrestling like I am right now, or coaching your kids, Pop Warner team, the one thing that you want to prevent at all times is injury. You never want to come away from one of your practices with an injury, especially to a starting, elite of the elite player at his position in Christian Benford. So Sean McDermott has to be really frustrated putting this lineup together. It seems like he gets a lot of criticism from some of the Mafia in terms of game time decisions and things like that. But one thing you can't criticize is his ability to put together a roster week after week after week with this like Rubik's Cube combination of different players that the Bills have had to mix and match really all season long. I can't confidently say which week this season the Bills have been 100%. There hasn't been one, and despite that, they're still 9-4. So that's a feather in the cap. That's me, giving credit where credit's due, I think, to Sean McDermott. And, Christian Benford, him being out today, Tre'Davious White has to step up. He has to show that he's got a little bit of that throwback form, but there's some names on here as well. Jordan Hancock, Cam Lewis, who has been getting a little bit targeted these past few weeks. when he's out there as like the liability Ryan Gosling to remember the Titans, TC Williams fame. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see one guy get targeted each and every single week as the weak link of the secondary. So defensive backs, everybody's got to step up.
Yep.
Big opportunity for Maxwell Hairston. I'm sure that he's going to be lined up on Stephon Diggs pretty much all day today. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. I know guys like to move around and coordinators like to move guys around, but wherever Stephon Diggs goes, 31 should be right in front of him, or trying to bat the ball down or pick it off, God willing. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of this inactive list. Shaq Thompson as well. He's been tremendous for the Buffalo Bills in wake of Terrell Bernard being out. So want to see more from him a little bit too, and more from Maxwell Hairston as we've already seen it. And those are the two guys that really jump out as far as the inactives. Who has to step up? Hairston and Shaq Thompson for sure.
Yep, I agree 100%. Lou Arque was active in the comments. What the hell are they doing at practice? Dropping cinder blocks on their feet?
You put the routine together, right, as a coach, no matter what sport you're coaching, and you just keep your fingers crossed that nobody falls down funny or twists an ankle or gets a cleat stuck or whatever, and it happens. It's football, right?
Well, there's stories of these elites back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s wide receivers that used to catch cinder blocks and bricks while helping their fathers do their work. I think is that a Jerry Rice story? There's someone out there that
he used to catch bricks. Yeah,
yep.
He'd catch bricks with his dad. His dad would toss him bricks, and he'd catch. That is,
but
crazy.
Tossing them at the feet, that's a whole different story for sure.
Yeah.
Lou believes that it's a Cole Bishop game. I think time for him to come back. He's been solid. Palmer is in. That's what I wanted to touch on and ask a question on that. Obviously, the inactive is Gabe Davis. So, looking at that, if Palmer's in, Davis is out. That's kind of the replacement there. So I'm looking at the wide receivers. Keon Coleman, obviously back from his little suspension, we'll call it. Palmer's back. Gave us that promising bit of a game before he got injured. Khalil Shakir, obviously there. Tyrell Shavers and Brandon Cooks. I'm looking at this, and I'm kind of thinking our wide receiver core for today might be the best one we've had all year. What's your take on that, RT? I do like the Brandon Cooks pickup. Elijah Moore, obviously, is someone that brought in, couldn't do much out of that. But could this potentially be the best one that Josh Allen has this year?
I would say, I'd throw Gabe in there too. Like if Gabe was healthy, they'd have 6. Usually they like to have 5 or 6, but with Gabe Davis out, I would agree with you that this is probably the best that they've had just in terms of size, speed, as well as blocking ability. I think that's something that gets overlooked quite often just overall in football, whether it's a pass blocking running back or a pass blocking wide receiver. What they're able to do for Josh Allen, a guy that can extend plays like nobody else, is tantamount to what this offense kind of needs. This offense needs the ability to extend plays. No matter who the wide receivers are, the quarterback that's out there is going to need those plays to be extended from the wide receivers, from the running backs. So I'm looking at Brandon Cooks with this one. Last week, that 40-yard run that Josh Allen had for 6, Brandon Cooks laid some really nice blocks just throughout the entire day. But I really liked his block on that run. He literally lifted the guy into the end zone. So that was pretty awesome. But the wide receiver one for me on this team from week 1 till now is Khalil Shakir. I want to see the methodical dink and dunk Khalil Shakir. I want to see him really eat. We didn't really see him eat as much last week. Didn't have a bad week necessarily. They won, but I want to see a little bit more of him as they move the chains with the microchip football that is in today's NFL.
Right, and I agree. He's obviously our wide receiver one.
Yep.
And the Dinkin and Duncan and the yards after catch, Khalil's that guy. Brandon Cooks can be that guy, and even our tight end, Dalton Kincaid can be that guy. So we talked a lot of offense. Trubisky and Allen are on there. Offensive line looks about the same with Van Granger, Torrance, McGovern, Anderson, Dawkins, DeMarc, Edwards, and Brown. Brown is back. That's a name off the list. That's nice to see. So we do have our tackles back. And like I said, hopefully they take some notes of how the boys performed against who'd they play 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. I only think about the future. But our two, I'm not
I'm
going to dwell
stumped.
on. Yep. Running backs look the same. Cook, Davis, Johnson, and Gilliam. Gilliam, I think, is getting a lot of Pro Bowl votes. Congratulations to him. Sorry, I started a little bit there. But he's a guy, he says he's going to get his. I'm not sure what that means, but if anyone's voting on FanDuel, DraftKings, all that stuff, maybe anytime touchdown him this week. Tight ends look good. We finally got the full cast, Haas, Kincaid, and Knox. It looks like
Steelers, they played 2 weeks ago. Yep. It just popped into my head.
Lou Arquiu looks like he's telling you guys to hit Jackson Haas up for another touchdown catch. Can you imagine the money made on Gilliam and Haas anytime touchdowns? Put a buck on there, guys. Speaking of gambling, I ran into my buddy Tommy during a basketball game, youth basketball game yesterday. And his daughter's name is Nora. My daughter's name is Nora. And they were one-on-one. They were guarding each other. So you could yell Nora and root for both of them. But he mentioned
it'd be so confusing while they were getting coached.
He mentioned a $5 bet to get the Bills on top of the AFC as number one seed is thousands of dollars. So $5, you got it. Go ahead. Weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of betting. All right, let's hit up the defense. Obviously, Darnell Savage is on there. Terrell Bernard, linebacker. I don't necessarily am not fearful of Terrell Bernard being out. It looks like Shaq Thompson is holding his own, doing well against the run, enough to be someone that I think if he's healthy and Terrell Bernard is still injured a little bit, keep him out. But defensive line, Jordan Phillips, Jones, Walker, Sanders, Ogunjobi looks the same. Linebackers look the same. And obviously the big defensive back, the only big difference there is Benford being out. What's your defense looking like there, RT? Are you okay with this?
I mean, okay as I could be, minus Benford. I want to see, Joey Bosa make his impact in this game. The time that he missed was, I think, kind of chosen, not just because he was hurt, but they could go without Joey Bosa those weeks. This is a game that they really needed Joey Bosa out there. But I will say they've done a really good job of managing his workload, and I don't think he'd be out there if he wasn't, at least 90%. So I will say that despite how big this game is, I know this game is really big, but if he was really, really banged up, they need him for January. They need him for, God willing, February.
Yep.
And Joey Bosa's out there here, December 14th against the Patriots in Foxborough. So I think Joey Bosa is a huge key to this game, pressuring Drake May, getting to Drake May. What version of Joey Bosa will we see equipment-wise? That'll tell you a lot about how high his percentage is, whether it's 80 or 90 or 70. If he's got a wrap on his hand, if he's got a wrap on his leg, or whatever it may be, that'll kind of tell you, a little bit more about what we'll get from Joey Bosa. But I've loved the signing. I think he's been a home run for the team, and experience-wise, leadership-wise, production-wise, it's checked off every box, minus these last couple weeks being out of the lineup. But really happy to see that he's active today.
I mean, that's one of those things. We come on here, we talk about the inactive list, but the big thing is the actives too. So I agree. Joey Bosa, love seeing him there. A lot of fans thought he was coming in, RT, to hold out a little bit because of his previous injury and bring him in towards latter of the season so he can be a productive member of the group. But he's been doing great. He's getting our sacks, and maybe you're right. Maybe he did hold out a little longer with this injury, just so he could be that guy, that shining star on our defense come December, January, February. Beautiful. Loving our roster. Not a big fan of the Benford thing. I think that's the biggest hit. But other than that, I think we can adjust. Again, this is a AFC East division rival. So it's one of those things. We have guests on the show, Brad Lamb, Don Beebe, Mark Maddox. We've had John Fina and all those guys, and they all say the same thing. These division games, doesn't matter if your record's 0-16 versus 16-0, they're hard. And it's a lot of times the team that lost knows what to adjust compared to the teams that won. So hopefully our loss earlier in the season against Vrabel and this New England team can be a little bit of something that McDermott takes advantage of, and we can come out with the dubs on this one. There you go. We got a bunch of fans. Lou Arq still saying Steelers. I'm not sure what he got.
Steelers as far as who they played. And I mean, for them to not have two tackles, I want to touch on that. For them to not have their two tackles against the Steelers with, at the time a healthy, prime and ready TJ Watt, and a force to be reckoned with veteran-wise and Cameron Hayward, who had a few things to say after the game that I just rolled my eyes at. But neither here nor there. They did very, very well. The fill-ins, Vandemark, and all the backups that they've had that have been forced to, step up and play in wake of Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins being out, just goes to show you that any unit on this team, you talk about James Cook and Ray Davis and Ty Johnson depth-wise, running back-wise, the depth is on their offensive line. That is the best unit that they have on this team, and that's a good thing to say. That's what most teams would beg to have, even the backups at an offensive line that the Bills have as their starters. Tennessee being one of them for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. For sure. Jimmy Graham on the YouTubes. Greg needs to step up. He's not playing up to his contract. Talking about Russo. Agree. He's been the quiet name.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, if you look at, the last 5 years, nobody's got more sacks than Greg Rousseau on that defensive line, and that's including Ed Oliver. So Greg Rousseau was drafted top, 25? Ed Oliver was drafted top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive ends typically get to quarterbacks a little bit more, but that's just something to kind of chew on. I think the productivity is there. It's just not there at the level that the contract says, to his point. So I do want to see more. I mean, to my point about Joey Bosa, when Joey Bosa was out, Joey Bosa has really been the only defensive end that's really been able to get to the quarterback consistently, pressure or sack, and the others have really not. So I do want to see a little bit more. I think Ed Oliver was a really big loss to this defense, and in particular to this defensive line. So without him kind of plugging in that middle, the guy that you're accustomed to standing next to on the defensive line, changes the rhythm and the routine a little bit. Dare I say. So I can go back to when the Bills had, going way back now, but when the Bills had Pat Williams and Ted Washington, and they lost them both. They lost Pat Williams, free agency, goes to Minnesota. Ted Washington kind of rides off into the sunset, and they bring in some other defensive tackles. It's like, it's just not quite the same for those defensive ends that were the same defensive ends that were lined up against, or next to Pat Williams and Ted Washington. So it's all about that continuity, that rhythm that makes the Bills' offensive line so good because they've been healthy these last few years. The defensive line just hasn't quite had that. So I'm going to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt, that he hasn't really lived up to the contract, but I think the talent is definitely there. To say it's not would be crazy.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys that you write off. I mean, if he has a big game, you're not going to be surprised by it. It's going to be, there's the Russo that we know can be the Russo for sure. I like to throw this out there. Hold on real quick. Instagram does not allow comments or anything like that. They're still working on it with StreamYard, but I do want to give a shout out to Kadovic Muhammad and Miles SP. Thanks for joining there on Instagram. We see you. See you. So let's transition there, RT. Again, part of the Buff Fan Base Network, sponsored by and presented by 26 Shirts. Let's get into, we have about 15 minutes. I'll go with keys to success. We'll do offensive and defensively, then we'll hit up the comments and the score predictions too with the X factors. What is your offensive key to success? Can be anything, but tell me what the Bills offense has to do to succeed and come out with the dubs.
Well, if you were to ask me what was the best week of the season thus far for the offense, just schematically and play calling wise, Joe Brady's gotten a lot of heat, and I think a lot of it is rightfully so, with some of the lackadaisical offensive showings that we've seen, especially against Atlanta. The fact that they lost to the Atlanta Falcons, I still can't get over that. It just doesn't really make sense to me. I still can't wrap my head around that. But last week was their best week offensively in terms of play calling, I thought. Due in large part to the fact that they had a healthy Dalton Kincaid back in there. I don't think people quite understand what he does for their offense. And yeah, you could go on, all the NFL analytical sites and see like the snap counts. Dawson Knox had more snaps, almost double the amount of snaps that Dalton Kincaid had. Jackson Hawes was right underneath Dawson Knox in terms of snaps.
Right.
But that's because of his run blocking ability and the jumbo set that they run. But when those three guys are out on the field in that jumbo set, Dalton Kincaid, I would venture to guess his stat line is the majority of his stat line in that formation.
Right.
So that's what I want to see more of. I want to see more of utilizing Knox to free Kincaid, or utilizing Kincaid to free up Knox, vice versa. I really liked what Joe Brady did last week, mixing those guys in to play action, to bootleg. A lot of it was because of the field conditions, but a lot of it also, I think, has to do with Josh Allen in that mobility aspect that he has of wanting guys to extend their routes. That's what made quarterbacks like Mike Vick, when he was in his prime, so special. He'd extend a play, roll out of the pocket, and wide receivers would get open for him beyond their route. He'd throw the football at such weird angles, as especially a left-handed quarterback, that defenses couldn't really cover it. Josh Allen, his size is so deceiving. You expect him to just chuck it deep, then he'll run, or he'll go to run, but then he'll chuck it deep. You never really know what he's going to do. And a lot of it, he's throwing to big, massive targets, whether it's Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, or Jackson Hawes, or even Keon, who, despite that 2-game suspension, I've seen some really encouraging things in the limited moments from Keon that show, okay, we might be on the upswing here. Might have needed a little bit of a timeout to be put back in. So little reset, little mental reset, and that's okay. You know, Bridge isn't burned. He's still under contract. It is what it is. You're only as good as your roster, week 15 anyway. So I think that's what I want to see, is just more mixing of those 3-4 players that use the size advantage that they do have at the wide receiver position today, as well as I mentioned with Josh Palmer and Brandon Cooks. A lot of, 6'1", 6'2", guys out there that are big. And I like that. I like that size aspect to the game of football, especially with a defense that I think is a little bit more vulnerable in their secondary than what people realize. Secondary in New England is good. I don't know if it's great. And I want to see Josh Allen test that a little bit today.
I agree 100%. That game, I do believe, was the better game as far as offensive schematically. I do like, a lot of times with quarterbacks, and I know Josh Allen's a seasoned vet, but you narrow the field and then you get wider. He made it so now defenses, with the likings of Kincaid, Hawes, and Knox, those screens are effective only if the inside of the field is effective. So now that he's utilizing the in between the hash, the lines there, it's going to be difficult to cover those screens, because now you got Kincaid, Haas, and Knox doing that thing. I do like that game plan. Kincaid's back.
Great.
Yep. So you just showed a lot more of your offense that the teams now have to be prepared for every week. For me, it was ball security offensively. Ball security, control the clock, and just put points on the board. We can't kick field goals today. Got to put points on the board.
Yep.
Defense, what's your keys to success on defense, my friend?
Get after Drake May, Joey Bosa. Force Drake May to make decisions. Force Drake May to play like Josh Allen. Force Drake May to play like Joe Burrow. Force Drake May into a shootout. You look at the New England Patriots schedule, the teams that they've beat. Look at the scores of the teams in the wins. Very close games. The Patriots are not built to go toe-to-toe with an elite quarterback. They didn't do that the first time. I think what made the Patriots win that first matchup was they slowed some things down for themselves. They slowed the clock down. They slowed the game down a little bit, and they didn't allow Drake May to be put in a situation where he could make a mistake. And that's Vrabel 101. Run the football, be methodical, high percentage throws. That's why Drake May's had such a great year. His completion percentage is ridiculously high. He's in high leverage, easy sample size throw situations that I think Buffalo needs to take him out of. And the way to take him out of it is to force him to make a decision. And that isn't his first or second read. That's his third or fourth read. Collapse that pocket. Will Campbell is out, I'm pretty sure, for the New England Patriots, right? So that is a massive, massive loss. That was a great pick by the Patriots in the draft this past year. And I think that's really going to hurt the Patriots long term in the dog days of the season, in the January cold months that we're in already in December here. So
Miami Jets take notes. Amazing what happens when you draft an offensive tackle high in the draft to protect your quarterback. It's crazy how your franchise can turn things around.
It would really help, especially when that quarterback was 40. that or Tua. We'll just put or Tua. Or Tua or your Tua, and we all know what I mean when I say that. So Drake May, they've done a really good job building around him. I like Drake May just as a football fan. I think he's got a lot of talent, and he seems like a great guy. Real close with Josh Allen as well off the field from what I've heard and read. So he's in that new kind of quarterback fraternity where they're all buddies on the golf course and stuff, which is cool. But that being said, I want to see Drake May on his back, or at least forced to rush a throw that he really has not had to do hardly at all this year. I mean, you're only as good as your protection in front of you. Tom Brady would even say that. So Drake May's got to be rushed. He's got to be pressured. He's got to be hurried. And if Buffalo's able to do that defensively, I think this is going to be an easy day.
I agree. I have two things written down. Pressure Drake May. He's been sacked 40 times, I believe. So he can get sacked. He will get sacked. That's one of the things. And I can't remember what the second one is because I'm too worried about hitting the.
Here we go, folks. We're in overtime.
Yes, I know what the other one was. Put Drake May on the back and don't be overzealous about making sure that Diggs. I mean, he had a big game last time. A lot of targets, a lot of catches, a lot of yards after catch. And fittingly enough, that's the guy that's going to hurt us. So don't get too caught up on Diggs now because they still have a talented wide receiver group in Butte or however you may say his name in Hollins and all that. So Butte. But if you're putting May on his back, then you don't have to worry about those wide receivers, right? So. Yeah. Defense. Let's get some pressure. Bosa's back. There's a couple defenders that weren't there versus the Patriots the first time we played them. So give them a new look. We have a run stopping linebacker now. So let's surprise them and have one of those exceptional games in this AFC East battle here. I do have a video I want to show, guys. We are at X Factor and score prediction time. Let's see if I can't find it. I got something downloaded here from our friend Corey Blaine.
What up, Bills Mafia? It's your boy Corey from BWO. We got another killer game today. We got the Patriots coming. Well, we're going. But last time, Stephon Diggs got a little cocky, thought he was somebody. And I think this week, that defense, even though we still have a few injuries, is going to shut them the fuck down. When does Josh Allen ever take a loss as embarrassing as that and not come back and fucking smack cheeks? So, just like last week, that one little nice game, little win, whatever, still does not justify the full SpaghettiOs coming back. If we can smack the Patriots this week and knock them off and get back in this number one contender category, we'll bring it back full court. But until then, guys, Bill's gonna win 42-17. We making a statement today. Number one, playoffs. Here we go.
Regular old tomato.
Dang.
Go Bills.
Got a little on the nose there. Hey, he's enjoying that bye week. He's enjoying that fantasy bye, as am I.
Oh, right. There you go. A lot less to worry about.
So there's Corey.
I'm not going to apologize for language because that means I'm apologizing for him, and I don't do that. Your show, the BWO, is live. Also 8:00 on Wednesdays. Buffalo World Order. Corey's part of that group. Buffalo Spartan and Patrick Hughes. So, I mean, they're big Bills fans just like we are. Good take there, Corey. A bit of a blowout. RT, you going that big? You keeping it closer? I think Vegas has it 1.5. I think right now.
This
New
is
England.
Yeah. Vegas knows. Vegas knows. You could have a shirt that just says Vegas knows. Like
Vegas, there you go.
That would be what I would wear at the casino while betting this one. I think it's gonna be a really close game. We're getting into score predictions now. I would say that it's gonna be 28-24 Buffalo. I think Josh Allen is going to have another moment, another Josh Allen absolutely amazing moment that he's just continued to have the last 8 years, whether it's a big run or a throw that you just check your eyesight. Did that just happen? Like last week with the Shakir touchdown, he zipped it past that dude's ear hole. That was Favre, that was Elway, that was Kelly, that was Marino, that was Josh Allen. So I think he's going to have a game-winning touchdown pass or run. 28-24 Bills get the dub.
There you go. I'm not sure if Corey said 42-17. It does seem right that he did say that. Lou RQ says 34-28. His X factor is Drake May, 1 strip sack interception. Love it. Who's going to get it? Benford's not playing. Jimmy Graham, 28-17 Bills. I do have a score of 31-28. I do think it's going to be close. I do think Vegas has it pretty tight there. So X factor again, it's gonna be the disciplined football. It's gonna be the turnovers and the penalties because you are playing a Vrabel offense, Vrabel New England Patriots team. The teams that make the least amount of mistakes are going to be the teams that come out on top. Can't wait for it. Oh, we got a new follower from YouTube here. You're on mute. I stopped it and to leave thumbs up and already subscribed. I have to run and give you a thumbs up when you read this. Bills 38-24. Oh, who's on mute? I wonder. Was I on mute? Anyways.
It was me. I was on mute during Corey's video because I always laugh. I can't help
it.
Oh,
okay.
I don't want to laugh during the video.
Well, thanks at Bills S3U. We'll hopefully not be on mute next time. But thanks for the comment. Thanks for subscribing. Yeah, anyone that's out there that's not following, but watching, just subscribe. We got good stuff. We do giveaways. We do events. We do all that good stuff here.
Maybe he's got us on mute and he's doing the old-fashioned subtitles.
Oh, there you go.
That all could right. be. I've done that a time or two. You know.
There you go.
Could be possible.
But exactly, we're at 12:05. We went 5 minutes over. It is what it is. My final thought. I'm going to give my final thought first, RT, because I want you to end it with telling people where they could find you. But 1 week at a time, we are in a good spot. 9-4. They're 11-2. We control our own destiny with a little bit of help. If the Patriots can lose one more after this, if we beat them and we can win out, we'll be looking pretty. Sunday sessions every week, guys, an hour and a half before the game, your official Bills Mafia. Why do I say that? Because we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network, the official Bills Mafia, and we are their pregame show. So we are honored to do that an hour and a half before every game. And then Sundays, we have the K-Gun Report that goes live every Tuesday at 8:30. 24/7 Buff in the Morning presents that. That's our post-game basically show. 8:30 every Tuesday. Hit up the K-Gun Report with myself, Swank, and Jared. RT, your final thought, and again, remind people where they can hear that lovely voice on the socials.
All right, yeah. So Wednesdays at 8, Thomas Takes Sports Podcast. I'll be hopefully recapping a win. And man, this has been a great ride. 10 years in the headset podcast game. I'm not slowing down anytime soon. Just getting started, just getting warmed up. Of course, you, Scott, Swank, Jared, in the words of the late, great Stuart Scott, you guys are all cooler than the other side of the pillow. You guys know that. You guys are my boys. And we're also going to see today the never-seen 17 Josh Allen, not John Cena last night. That was the retirement match. But Josh Allen, we do see you as the 2-time NFL MVP. Why is Josh Allen not thrown in the MVP discussion? I think maybe if they had the AFC East in hand, he would be once again. But this game, if the Bills pull it off, that AFC divisional hope is still alive for our 6th straight AFC East title. So I'm keeping the hopes alive. I think the Bills are going to win this one. And I think it's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong. Yep. I love these AFC East games. I love the game. I love football. Historic rivalry. I wish we could see both teams rock the AFL-style white helmets with the Pat Patriot and the Standing Buffalo. I want that old school, old jersey nostalgia, but I'm really excited for this one and hoping that the Bills can come out with a win. And last and certainly not least, you guys can't see me. I'll see you guys later.